Happy holidays! I'm so happy you're here. Are you searching for those special recipes to serve at Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and other holidays? Well, I have a delicious side dish recipe you will love. Today we are making whipped sweet potatoes with buttery brown sugar walnut sauce. I have been making this dish for years to serve at Thanksgiving and Christmas. My family expects this dish on our dinner table during these holidays. It's also a great recipe to make anytime. Let's get into the recipe. But first, I'm going to make a quick stop by the store to pick up the main ingredient. I'm here at the store and I'm looking for some plump sweet potatoes. What's great about this time of year is you can always find some huge sweet potatoes. And I need about 9 or 10. I'm back here at home, and as you can see, I found some beautiful large sweet potatoes. I have about 9 to 10, and these are huge. This batch usually feeds about 16 people. If you have a smaller crew to feed, then have this recipe. We're going to need sweet potatoes. Like I said, I usually do 9 to 10. Light brown sugar. You can use dark brown sugar if you want, but I like the light brown sugar. Chopped walnuts, butter, and water. All right, grab your paper and pencil and let's get started. The first thing that I do is give them a really good wash. I make sure I wash them really, really well, and I'm going to take a scrub brush and scrub them. I'm setting my oven temperature to 400 degrees. Now I've got my pan and I've lined it with some parchment paper because sweet potatoes can get really messy in your oven. So I've got my potatoes scrubbed and washed. I'm going to pierce each one. I'm going to place them on the pan. Now they can ooze out over the sides, so I'm going to continue this process until all of the sweet potatoes have been pierced with my knife. Okay, these are ready to go in the oven. Now I'm going to set these for about 60 minutes because there's so many. Generally it takes 60 to 90 minutes. Oops. And I'll check them. All right, it's been an hour. I'm going to check them. I'm going to use a knife to check for softness or resistant. If it's resistant, I'm popping it back in. That one's still not done. Not done. Nope. Gonna need a little bit more time. Okay, I'm gonna set it for another 20 minutes and I'm gonna come back and check them. These are done. It took about 90 minutes. Here is our finished potatoes. As you can see, they run over a little bit. Okay, now that they're out of the oven, the first thing I do is I cut across the top. Of each one. Okay. And then this over. And now while these are still pretty warm, I take an old oven mitt and then I just smash them out of it. Now, if you want to use a spoon to scoop them out, that works just fine. I've always done it this way. It's faster for me. I just pick it up from the bottom, and then I use my mitt to squeeze it out into the bowl. Now, if some of the jacket gets down in there, I pick it back out. If there's some of the potato left in the jacket, then I go ahead and scrape that into the bowl as well. It helps to open up the tops of the jacket really well before you pick them up, and it makes it easier for them to fall into the bowl. Now I'm going to continue this process until I get all the sweet potatoes out of the jackets and into the bowl. All right, now I've got my bowl of sweet potatoes. Now I generally don't add milk to them. You can add milk, you can add almond milk, but I have some members in my family that are allergic to milk. So I try to keep these pretty simple, and you'll see what I have to go on them here in a bit. So right now I'm going to blend these up with my mixer. I'm blending these up until they're smooth and fluffy. Now I didn't add anything to these, and they're blending perfectly. Now I'm scraping down the sides because I want to make sure I don't have any lumps. These smell so good. These are nice and fluffy. Okay, these look pretty smooth to me. Now if you happen to have a stray piece of a jacket or a husk, go ahead and pull that out. I think these are done. I'm going to set these aside. Time to make the topping for our whipped sweet potatoes. I'm using a microwave safe bowl, and I'm going to place 2 sticks of butter in my bowl. Next, I'm adding 2 cups of packed light brown sugar to my bowl. I'm adding 1/4 to 1/2 a cup of water. Now you could start out with 1/4, and if you need more, you can add it or use the whole half. Now I'm popping this in the microwave. You could do this on top of the stove in a pot if you wanted to. Now I'm going to start out with 1 minute, and then I'm going to stir it. You want this to have the consistency of a syrup. So you're going to stir it in between minutes. I'm going to leave this in the microwave and check and stir after each minute. It takes about 7 to 8 minutes depending on your microwave. Now be sure and don't leave this unattended. I have run it over before, and it is very sticky to clean that up. We want to make sure that the sugar is all dissolved and a nice syrup forms. This also will thicken after it sets. As I stir, I'm also watching my spoon, watching how slow it drips. Now the last minute of the cooking, we will add the chopped walnuts and cook 1 minute longer. Now if you are not a fan of walnuts, you can always use chopped pecans. It's up to you. These are chopped. I'll stir these around a little bit. Okay, I'm going to pop this microwave back on for another minute. Now this will be very hot. Let it sit here for at least a minute or 2 before we try to take it out. You're going to need gloves because it's hot. My sweet potatoes. And over here, I've got my brown sugar gravy. Now as this sits, it thickens as it cools. Time to serve this up. Okay, the first thing I do is get a dollop of mashed potatoes. With this delicious topping that goes on top of these, You don't need anything inside the mashed potatoes because all of the great stuff is on top, and it really is delicious. Time to add the topping. I just drizzle it in the middle and drizzle it over the sides. I like a little extra sauce on mine. All right, time for a taste test. So good. This was so good. It was delicious. It will make a perfect complement to your holiday meals. Today we made my delicious whipped sweet potatoes with buttery brown sugar walnut sauce. Next week I have another great recipe that shows up on my holiday menu each year. I'm going through my secret holiday recipes in my holiday food series, so be sure to stay tuned for that. I hope you liked this video and I hope you enjoy this recipe. Don't forget to check out some of the other recipes on my channel. Thank you to all my subscribers. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.